So I'm here with James Harris, the CTO of the EventDay Team. Now, James, usually we start with how did people get started at RunSignup,
Right.
but how did you get started at RaceJoy?
Yeah. So, I worked in the industry for a long time doing dispatch systems for fire and police. It was pretty much like 300 municipalities across North America. And I was also doing a lot of Ironman racing, and I really wanted to apply what I was seeing in the dispatch systems with maps and everything to the endurance industry. And so Shelly and I started RaceJoy, and I met Bob at real early days at a contract conference, and I kept running into him at different conferences and everything. And it just really kind of came together after about 3 years of me working on RaceJoy to go and work with Bob at RunSignup and bring RaceJoy there. And it's actually was a real blessing because, we had an instant distribution model that we could really get it out there and make it available to a lot of races. And so, it's just grown over the last 8 years. And now we're doing a lot of things with EventDay, a lot of different technologies. I mean, we've built the team. And so it's been really, really exciting to see like where we started with just this idea of RaceJoy and how it's really morphed into all these different EventDay technologies that we work on. And that's been the journey. It's been really, really great.
So it started with dispatch, like a dispatch app, or?
No, this was actual 911 dispatch systems that I worked on. So SunGuard was the vendor that provided that to police and fire across the country and all the local municipalities. So yeah, there was all like kind of systems that I worked for the Wisconsin State Patrol. They had a big system that we put in. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I was in my kind of software side of the things. But then I started doing all this Ironman racing at that period in my life and just saw like this is something that I could do with the maps and the tracking, like because they were tracking police cars. But, I was like, I can just track myself and my wife can find me on the course. So that's where the idea came from.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what were you doing prior to RaceJoy and the dispatch work?
Yeah, so I've been doing software now for, I hate to date myself, 30 years. Started, the first thing I built was an internet billing server. It was one of the first internet billing credit card systems for a bank in Pittsburgh. It was part of our work at Carnegie Mellon. And then just kind of went through a lot of different consulting kind of firms and worked a lot of different projects and, kind of like, it was more like, they hire out in different companies and things like that. So did that for a lot of years consulting. And then, like I said, I went to work for SunGuard, and that's really started the journey of everything I was building with these dispatch systems. And then that evolved into RaceJoy, and then here I am at RunSignup.
Now, how have your experiences there compared to what you're doing at RunSignup?
Yeah, this is absolutely the most rewarding thing I've done. I've always been very fortunate to be able to build things that didn't exist before. So everything, like all of the different jobs that I've had, have always been in the creation business. So it wasn't just coming in and like maintaining something. It was always like building something new. And so I've been very fortunate to have that opportunity. And that's really been true here at RunSignup because we were building a lot of technologies and apps and things that are new. And it's just been really, really great. Definitely the right size company that lets us kind of have that kind of freedom so that we can, build new things. And it's definitely the kind of thing that I like to do is build things that didn't exist before.
Now, as the leader of the EventDay team, what is your connection to the customers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what we have here at RunSignup, which is a really important role, is what we call a product manager, and that's Matt Avery. And so the product manager is really that interface to customers, to the sales team, and also to the executives. And it really frees me up from a development basis because I can really focus on like the how, like what things can possibly be. We call it the art of what's possible. So, the product manager's really job is to make sure that we understand all the requests, organizing all those requests because it's a lot of work, and also doing all that kind of communication. And then we meet monthly, just me and him, to kind of organize that into our sprints. And, so it's a really great thing. So I'm focusing on the how, the art of what's possible, and he's focusing more on the what and when, and communicating the when back to the market. So it's a really great relationship that we have here at RunSignup.
Can you describe what a sprint is?
Yeah, so we on the EventDay team, we do development in what we call 2-week sprints. So again, Avery's organizing information, features, and stuff, and then we're bringing it to the team. every other Friday, and they're getting new items and new features that they're working on, and we try to deliver on that in those intervals.
So a sprint is kind of a period of time
Right.
when something should be worked on and
Yep.
completed.
Yep.
Now, what have you been working on in the past 6 months?
Yeah, so the last 6 months has been really exciting for me because when we started RaceJoy back 11 years ago, we started with doing not only the tracking of phones, what we call phone tracking, but we also did timing integration where the people that are wearing the bibs, the RFIDs, those tags would create an alert also. And so all the alerts were delivered through the app, RaceJoy. So we abandoned that when we came together with RunSignup because it wasn't really scalable. What's happened is it's been a wonderful evolution is that we've been able to write a new piece of software called RaceDay Scoring, which is a really great middleware that can interface to all the equipment. And so what we're doing this year, it's very exciting, is we're rolling out actually this summer, now going back to where RaceJoy can deliver those timing alerts in the app to give a full event experience. So it's not, if you, Andrew, want to run with your phone, you can run with your phone. If you don't want to run with your phone, you can still get alerts and you can still get the event experience in your app when you're done. But we're kind of bringing it all back together, and so it's been really exciting evolution for us to see that come back full circle. But we needed to build RaceDay Scoring in order to make that scalable and easy for timers to be able to deliver that technology and not have to be so involved. Like I was back in the day, I was having to work with each event. Now it's the timers that are doing their own events. We're just giving them the technology to make it happen.
So you mentioned RaceJoy and RaceDay Scoring. What are some of the other products that fall under the EventDay Team's umbrella?
Yeah, so this is really another exciting tool that we're building. We call it Mobile Timer Tools. It's a new app. And we're really, today it's being used as a backup device so you can just quickly record things that are happening as kind of like a backup to your timing equipment. But what we're working on right now, which is really exciting, is making it also a tool that you can use for creating photo capture. So events can have their own staff use this app. These phones are amazing. The technology of these cameras, these Apple cameras and these new Samsung cameras, it's just amazing how good the quality is. So now why not leverage that, give them a tool, an app where they can quickly create photos, but have those photos automatically put into albums based on the location, auto tagged, and it's automatically uploading. So now the photographers don't have to just deal with all the storage of the photos and then later figure out how to upload it. We're going to give them a tool where you can actually just streamline that whole process and use the power of the camera in these phones. So that's what we call Mobile Timer Tools app that we do. And so we have RaceDay Scoring, we have the Mobile Timer Tools, we have RaceJoy, and then we also do an event ticketing app for those ticketing type of events where you have to do check-in and so forth. And then of course the most popular tool of all is RaceDay Check-in. It's been a real breadwinner for timers for a long time, 8 years now. And so check-in continues to be a really stable product that we build and work on.
Now with the photos that you're talking about, that's something that a volunteer could take the phone and you don't even have to hire a professional photographer. They can go out there and really make a smaller race look much more professional, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then set up a nice stand so where you can really frame it and, help that volunteer, using different types of equipment that, stands and stuff they have now. Really set it up, frame it with the finish, and then they're just sitting there hitting, going click, 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 click. They're not having to worry about the storage. They're not having to worry about the upload. You don't have to train them on all that. It's just literally click and go.
Now, is that going to be for video as well?
Yeah, so later we're going to work on the video. We're starting with the photos, and that's our big push right now. And that'll be part of the mobile timing tool. We call it the Mobile Timing Tools app. So it's a great app that can do a lot of different things for timers, in addition to what it's doing today with backup to their timing equipment.
Now, this was a project that the Rowan University students actually
absolutely
worked on too, right?
Yeah, so RunSignup has a really great program here. They do it every summer, and they give the students at this great university, a project. And it's all about just concepts, and they're not in any way going to produce a product that's ready for the market. It's just to take a concept and see what I call it the art of possible, and the students can just come up and see how things work, and it just helps us get a little bit of genesis of that thought into something a little bit that we can actually talk on. And again, Matt Avery, our product owner, really works with that set of students and comes up with the idea, and then they work it out. But yeah, so that photo kind of API, just the streaming of photos without using storage, and also being able to auto scale and compress. Like that was the real thing that we wanted to analyze, and that's what they did. And so we're taking that concept now and we're going to evolve it into our own app, which is a real product.
And that's going to have bib tagging and everything along with it, right?
RunSignup has a really great set of tools on the back end that are already available for those people that are uploading photos to auto tag and things based upon the bib. But now it's going to be just making it much easier to get that stream of photos into what we call an album or a location within the platform. And then as the participants are looking at the results, they're able to see those tagged photos.
Now, what projects do you have coming up in the next 6 months?
Yeah. So our big focus on the next 6 months, again, I talked about that timing integration. We're going to be start rolling that out, with RaceJoy. So Race Day Scoring is the middleware that lets you push out timing alerts in your own app within RaceJoy. So you have your event app. And, I really see, by this time next year, as we roll out that platform, we're probably going to have twice the number of events in RaceJoy that we have on a given weekend right now. So we'll really see a big growth in how RaceJoy is used as far as the events go. And then the other thing we talked about was the big photo push that we're doing. The other thing we're doing, which is really important, Race Day Scoring is our primary middleware for doing all the scoring and dealing with all the data. We're moving more and more of that into what we call, the language is called Rust. It's a new programming language. We're moving a lot of what we call the actual scoring into the Rust layer, and that's going to allow us to score the biggest of the biggest races. Because right now we're a little bit limited in the way the architecture was done. But when we make this next big push with Race Day Scoring, then we'll be able to time the biggest races in the world. So that's a big focus on our team right now.
Now, what exactly is Rust?
So it's a new programming language that's really focused on multi-threaded, multi-process, but more importantly, it really takes away the thought about memory. Like, I wrote a lot of code in my day in C++, and so it's a low level. That's how all the operating systems kernels are written in. So it's very low level, high performing code. The problem with C++ is that it doesn't have great memory management, and so you're going to have leaks and things like that. So Rust really took that head on. They said we need a really great language that we can write operating systems in, but we also want to make it so that you can't get in trouble with memory. And so it's a really great paradigm, and we're adopting it for Race Day Scoring.
Now, what do you think the greatest strength is of the EventDay team?
I have to say, one of the things that we have on our team, we call it check the ego at the door. And that's kind of a philosophy that we have adopted right from the beginning. When I hire a developer, we really kind of make it a big deal as you come in. We run what I call a very flat development organization. So we're all equals when it comes to coding. And like Michael may know something more than me in a moment, and I really need to leverage that and learn from him on something, and that actually makes me a better programmer. And so we really work on that philosophy in our team, that we're all equals and we're all working together to help each other code better. And so you may be really, really good at this particular aspect, like you understand CSS, or you understand, JavaScript or TypeScript really well, or maybe you understand this pattern really well, and then you can help me become a better programmer when I'm working on that area. So we do a lot on our team in terms of that kind of peer relationship, not only in how we do our code reviews, but actually how we do our daily work. We just really work as much more peers, and I actually think that's one of our key strengths for the team.
Now, do you have any funny stories about working here at RunSignup?
Yeah, so at RunSignup, we have this tradition. We do it every December where we try to do a team building event, but instead of it just being like a team building event, we actually go to an event and we work it as a team. And a couple years ago, we were working with the Kiowa Marathon. It's a big marathon, 6,000 person marathon. It's actually a great opportunity for the team to get really out there and see like the fruits of their labor. Like it's amazing when you actually see your stuff being used in a big event, how it really kind of crystallizes things for you and helps motivate you on what you're doing. So the funny story was Crisp was the timer. It's a big event. Lots of timing equipment has to be put out, lots of different points. And so he has it all laid out. And, I mean, these mats weigh like 60 pounds. And there's these big trucks that we're going to have to drive and like get it out there and all. And he had done the assignments, and he had assigned my wife, Shelly, who was in marketing, to run this big truck with these big mats. And so we're all just like looking around going, this A does not equal 1 + 1 does not equal 2 here. So it was really funny. But yeah, it was a really great weekend. We definitely learned a lot, and we worked together. And it was just kind of funny to see. I have to say, it was funny to me. Like, you know, we're kind of geeky kind of developers and stuff, and them having to haul mats and like drive trucks and all this stuff. It was pretty funny. Like, Jack ended up taking over the truck driving for Shelly, and he's driving this big truck with all these mats and everything. It was pretty fun.
Was Shelly supposed to unload them all too? Or?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I don't think Chris really thought about it.
He was just giving you a good story. He's like, the day's gonna come. We're gonna need to talk about it.
So it was pretty funny.
Well, thanks, James.
Thank you.